Muted.
Everyone's doing on a weekly basis here. Our Friday webinars, just so important to stay close to the fire here. And my name is Bob Cohen. It's my pleasure and privilege to be your host today. Really, for the Hoffmans to let me kind of share my 16 years now with Legal Shield is just an honor. And I thank all of you for spending some time here with me, either live here on Friday mornings at 6:30 a.m. Pacific, 9:30 a.m. Eastern, or great job if you're joining us on our 24/7 playback over at ShieldNation.com. So without further ado, we're going to get the show on the road. We got a power-packed webinar, and I'm excited about today's topic because it's so simple. Unfortunately, most people are going to miss it, and that's not what I want to happen. So today's topic is multiple exposures over a short period of time, and then how do we track those exposures to success? Okay, so do grab your pens and papers, and like I say, we're gonna move through a lot of information, but again, I think it's going to be very, very helpful. So, Trish, do I have the controls? Sometimes this thing gets caught up here.
Click on your PowerPoint once and then move over. There's future arrow button. There you go.
Thank you. See? Love you, Trish. All right, so we always got to start off with rule number one. And what's rule number one? You got to have fun. Please, folks, if you know my brother, Jerry Cohen, and myself, we're always having fun in our Legal Shield business. Folks, this is not rocket scientist stuff that we do. We simply get out there, we share two awesome products with people, and we have a great time doing it. Okay, so every single day, just do a check, a gut check on a scale of 1 to 10. Am I having fun with my Legal Shield business? So, here's a quote from Derek Jeter. You got to have fun, regardless of how you look at it. We're all playing a game. It's a business. It's our job. But I don't think you can do well unless you're having fun. Okay, so that's rule number one. Let me go back here. And let's talk about our dreams and goals. And I got to start off this presentation today because we got to go back to the importance of our dreams. And this is so important. Again, I don't think we talk about it enough as adults. I definitely know we don't talk about it enough as children. Oh my gosh, can you imagine? Do you remember the dreams we used to have when we were little, 7, 8, 10, 12 years old, just what the possibilities were? And unfortunately, what happens, as we get older, life seems to take over. And so today, again, I want to remind everybody again that we've got to focus on those dreams. We've got to focus on the vision of the future. This is so, so important. It was very important for me in my Legal Shield business is this form right here. And this is available over at ShieldNation.com under Documents. And if you haven't filled this out, please make that a goal today to, number one, print it out, fill it out, and then send a copy to your sponsor, to your executive director, as I guarantee they will love to see a copy of this. And I like what Jim Rohn talks about, just how dreams are just so important. It's got to be that pool on your life is the pool of the future. Okay, and what happens, unfortunately, as we know, so many people live in the past. They're constantly being pulled and influenced by the past. And the past is okay if we can learn from the past. But unfortunately, again, so many people are still stuck in the past, and that's not where we want you to be. So again, folks, the greatest pull on your life is the pull of the future. And here's where, when I start off a new associate, we're going over this form. I have this form printed out. Most of the time I print it out on blue copy paper because I want it to stand out. And it's just a really fun to, and you always want to just start out with the middle, the far left column there. What's your reality? What's going on in your life right now, from the home to what kind of car to what are you, doing for a living and stuff like that. And it's just really the gut check, okay? The far column on the right is the dream. What would your life be like? You've got $10, $15, $20,000 a month coming into your checking account thanks to Legal Shield. What would your life look like? okay, and have some fun here. And I tell you, I took this to heart. I still take this to heart. I have this taped up, so I see it every day. And one of my goals early on was, Jim Rohn had shared, he had a goal early on for himself to have a home in all 4 seasons. And I thought, man, that's an interesting goal. I was from California, native Californian, and as you all know, California has 1 season. It's a great season, but it's not all 4 seasons. And so years ago on my list was to have a home. I had it all planned out. I wanted it to be on water. I wanted it to be in North Carolina. That's where my wife was from and such. And lo and behold, folks, not only do I have 1 home in North Carolina on 18 acres, the Cane River surrounds us, but we have 2 homes currently in North Carolina. And I just love the month of October. I love fall. You know, we're going to talk about the seasons here in just a second, but it's so cool to borrow from the beauty of the future to enroll ourselves in the activities today. See, early on, was I getting the naysayers? Was I getting the negative dream stealers? Absolutely. Am I still getting them today? Absolutely. Does it matter? No. No. You know, they're not responsible for my dreams, my bills. You know, I am. And so, again, folks, the dreams is just so important. I want you to truly visualize your future. You know, make it emotional. You know, the BMW program, what a great incentive that everyone should have on their dreams list. Make it emotional. Go this weekend. Go out to your local BMW dealership and go test drive a darn BMW. How do you like that? Would that make it emotional? Grab some brochures. Hang up those brochures. Okay. See yourself driving that BMW a year from now. You know, thanks to Performance Club. Okay. Because again, ladies and gentlemen, it's absolutely possible. Okay. I like with Fleetwood Mac. I'm not a big fan of Fleetwood Mac, but I like what they say here on the green thing. Don't stop thinking about tomorrow. Don't stop. It'll soon be here. It'll even be better than yesterday's gone. Yesterday's gone. So you don't want to hear me sing, but I just like that lyric. Don't stop thinking about tomorrow. See, now you're going to have that song in your head the whole rest of the day. But that's exactly what we're talking about here. So have some fun. Again, if you aim at nothing, ladies and gentlemen, you're probably going to hit it. And we don't want that to happen. Okay? So thank you so much for paying attention to the importance of dreams and goals. Now, I want to share a little story with everybody. And it's a fascinating story. I heard this story years ago when I started my Legal Shield business. And it's a story about the American Cancer Society. And it's a story about multiple exposures over a short period of time using a system. And ladies and gentlemen, this is an absolute basic business building principle in Legal Shield. Okay? And what I like about this strategy is absolutely it combines commitment and consistency with social proof. And ladies and gentlemen, we master the words by hearing the music one more time. You know, they say the average 40-year-old male knows about 30,000 songs by heart. Now, I don't know what happened to the females in that study, but for some reason, the males, we know thousands and thousands of songs. We know the lyrics by heart. How did that happen? Because we heard the music over and over and over. That's just like our Legal Shield business. That's just like personal development. It's just spaced repetition over a period of time. And here's what the study, how it kind of consisted. So the American Cancer Society, they wanted to collect, more donations. And they wanted to find out what would occur if they contacted people over a number of times, and each time just getting a little bit more commitment. Okay? And here's what happens with us in our Legal Shield business, folks, is that we're out there building our business, and into somebody at the mall, and they say, hey, I'm with Legal Shield, it's a great company, great opportunity, I'm making a whole bunch of money, you can make a whole bunch of money, you got to do this. Ladies and gentlemen, it's called puking on people, okay? We don't want to do that. We want to be, I always say, James Bond, we want to be calm, we want to be cool, we want to be collected. We want to be excited, there's nothing wrong with that, okay? But again, ladies and gentlemen, we want to make sure we're not repelling people, we're attracting people. And write that down if you didn't pick that one up, by the way, because that was a huge nugget just now. We got to make sure we're attracting people, not repelling them. And so the multiple exposures over a short period of time, here's what the American Cancer Society did. They went to a particular neighborhood to raise money for the Cancer Society. It's a worthy cause. And instead of asking people outright for money, they went door to door and knocked on the door and simply asked if this one simple question: would you wear a lapel pin that supported your local cancer society? That was it. That's all they wanted. They didn't say, will you give us money? They just asked, hey, will you wear a lapel pin for the rest of the day? Well, if someone knocked on your door, they happen to represent the American Cancer Society, asked if you would wear a lapel pin, and they were, right there. It was right there in their hand. They're not soliciting any donations. Would you wear it? And here's what happened. How many of you would find it difficult to say no, because the request is so minimal? Well, that's exactly what they found. So then they went back into the neighborhood, and they asked these same individuals if they would put a sign in their yard that would talk about Cancer Awareness Week. Now, here's what's interesting, folks. You wore a lapel pin. Now, do you really want a sign in your yard? Well, I don't know about you. I'm not that crazy about having a sign in my yard, but I had this pin on the whole day, so I'm in a bit of a quandary. Because the commitment and consistency principle says I need to act in harmony with the person that I am. So if I wore this lapel pin, all right, fine, and they found it was significantly easy. Okay, so here's what happened. So I wore the lapel pin, and okay, I'm going to go ahead and put the sign in my yard too. Okay? Now here's where it gets really interesting. They called these individuals back about a week later, and when they actually solicited them for donations, here's what they found. Okay? The people who would not wear the lapel pin, donations were virtually non-existent. Okay, that makes sense. The people that would wear the lapel pin, donations were 2 times. That's 100% more than if they just, called on the neighborhood cold. And then finally, those individuals who put signs in their yards, it was like 100% of those people made a donation of some kind to the American Cancer Society. Okay? So now this was an experiment that was done by a team of psychiatrists to find out why do people do what they do and don't do when they sometimes should be doing. Okay? It's an amazing study of the human nature. And so the question for everybody here today is, how can we use it? Okay? And here's where it gets fun, because if we can understand how to use this, this principle to build our business, okay, instead of just saying, hey, it's a great company and puke it on people, well, great, folks, if we can understand multiple exposures over a short period of time using our system, okay, now we can have some fun with our business. Now busy people can do our business, okay, because, again, everything duplicates, folks, but systems duplicate, okay? And I want to share with you what we've been using for years and years and years. It's called the 5-step exposure and duplication process, okay? It's absolutely proven to be successful. It absolutely will increase memberships, okay? And what are we doing here? We're simply letting the tools, add the credibility to our message. Again, we are simply the messenger. We're not the message, okay? And here's the secret. The more you can use the tools, okay, the more successful you're going to be. And here's just 5 steps. In fact, I'll just kind of open it up a little bit here, where, ring, ring, you can get somebody on a sizzle call, okay, just to learn a little bit about Legal Shield, learn about our project, okay? Why do I like the sizzle call? It takes it off of you, okay? Second is we can send somebody off a CD, a DVD, send them off a, Success from Home magazine. I'm with todaysbestcareer.com. What an absolutely tremendous resource that is to send somebody, okay? These really, really work well long distance, okay? My number one still is to get in front of somebody, okay, because you can't beat that doing the consumer folder presentation. But again, these are really, really helpful for long distance. Let's say you've got family in another part of the country, you've got friends, alumni, what have you, other parts of the country. this 5-step exposure process really, really works well. Okay. Third step is to, get your business partner on the phone, have them answer questions on your behalf, either collect a decision from your prospect or invite that prospect out to to a live event to see the big picture. Number 4 here is our Sunday night live international conference call, folks. We've been doing this call for 17 years straight. I guess it works. We wouldn't be doing it for 17 years. And every week we've got a very special guest speaker, quick 15, 20-minute overview, live overview on the Legal Shield membership and opportunity. Okay? Every week, when I first started, my goal was to three-way call my prospects onto the Sunday night call. Today, I'm at the point where I'm inviting 5, 10 people a week on the Sunday night conference call. And what I like about this, ladies and gentlemen, is it's just you're simply moving people through the process. And along the way, believe it or not, I'm actually looking to disqualify people along the process. See, we're not looking for everybody. The membership's for everybody, but the opportunity is not. Okay? Last but not least, exposure number 5 there is your weekly overviews there in your markets, your Super Saturdays, and things like that. So again, some of you probably have heard of the 5-step exposure. Maybe this is brand new to you. Fantastic. Glad you're on. Glad you're learning about it. Because again, just like the American Cancer Society, okay, just by multiple exposures over a short period of time can absolutely do wonders. Because one of my favorite questions to ask a brand new associate is, hey, so how did you get introduced to Legal Shield? It's a fascinating question because I want to find out how on track they are or how off track they are. If the prospect tells me, oh, well, somebody, Success from Home magazine, and then I end up coming out to an event, oh my gosh, that associate's like 80% trained. If I've got a brand new associate where, yeah, someone got me on the phone and told me all about Legal Shield and it kind of sounded interesting, and I kind of decided to do it, and that's not duplicatable. We're going to have to now work on more to here's the old saying, can you train, is it easier to train a baby or is it easier to train a teenager? Okay, it's easier to train a baby, believe me. All right, so that's really very, very important here, the 5-step exposure process. So what I want to do right now, though, is take a quick poll, and if Trish can actually take over the program here, and let's see if Trish is ready. And Trish, if you can get, are we still going to do that poll? Okay, well, in the meantime, take a look at some of these sales statistics here. It's absolutely fascinating in that 48% of salespeople will never follow up with a prospect. That's just incredible. 25, 1 out of 4, will never make a second contact, or actually will make a second one, but didn't stop. 12% will only make 3 follow-ups, and then only 10% of sales folks will make more than 3 contacts. I tell you what, you want to be at the top 10% of Legal Shield, top income earners, make sure you're in that 10% of salespeople making more than 3 contacts. Okay? Here's what's interesting, what they find is 2% of sales are made on that first contact. Just 2%, ladies and gentlemen. 3% on the second attempt, 5% on the third, 10% of all sales are made on the fourth contact, and here's where it really gets good. 80% of all sales are made between the 5th to contact. Okay, and that's what I love about Legal Shield, folks. We're here to educate. We're here to let people know it's there. If the time is right, fantastic, we move forward. If it's not, fantastic, we stay in touch. We're still friends, not a big deal, but the key is you've got to make the exposures and you've got to track. So, Trish, were we able to pull up that slide?
We're having technical difficulties, Bob. I'm so sorry.
Oh, Okay, that's okay. All right, well, we'll just jump right into it. But basically, the poll was, you know, on a given basis, ladies and gentlemen, how many of us are tracking our exposures? And unfortunately, I probably already know the answer. You know, if I take inventory of my team and you know, see what goes on. This is a biggie right here, folks. It's the Wealth Builders Tracking Form. The Hoffmans have been using this for years and years and years. The Hoffmans are multi-millionaires, and so success leaves clues, okay? So here's the thing, folks. If we're not using this tremendous form, then I guarantee, you know, those statistics that we just saw here, right? I guarantee most people that unfortunately are falling within the 48% of salespeople will never follow up with a prospect. And here's the thing, it's just, we've got so much going on in our lives, all right? And what I want to just start creating the habit here, folks, is go to ShieldNation, print out these forms, again, it's under Documents on Demand, and start using them. And I'll be honest, hey, I've started them, I've stopped them, I've been consistent, I've been inconsistent, believe me, I've done it all. But I tell you, right now, I'm back to using them, and I love it because I can track my prospects. And here's the thing, folks, your goal is to have so much going on that you almost can't even keep control. That's actually a good thing. And that's really where you start really seeing the results, is through this tremendous activity. And so on this form, my little secret, what I do is I actually skip a line. I only put 5 to a page because that gives me more area there to make my notes and stuff. But you'll see under the different areas there's our multiple exposures. And in fact, I'm going to make this a little bigger right here. Those are the different exposure opportunities we have. And what you want to put in that little box is the date. So today's what, 10/23, I think? So you would actually, if we made an intro call to somebody, I would put 10/23 right there, okay? My next follow-up should be either this evening or tomorrow, okay? You see what it says there? No longer than 48 hours between exposures. In fact, that should probably be 24 hours because we want to have that sense of urgency, that fear of loss, ladies and gentlemen, and it is a fear of loss that's going on right now. You know, this company is going through all-out massive activity, you know, momentum and such, and are you a part of it? And if you're not, it's going to go right by you, and we don't want that to happen. So, again, very simple form to use. I like what the Hoffmans do to, you know, to find out, you know, some of their key associates is send me your, you know, your tracking form. You know, let's see what's going on this week. And, you know, a good activity, send this activity form to your sponsor, folks. Let them, you know, help you with your exposures. You know, is there something missing? Are we not doing enough? Are we following up with the same person? Okay, this is a phenomenal form to actually start getting into the habit to start tracking those exposures. Now, here's what I've started doing lately is that I actually keep tracking forms for different segments of my business. And so I keep tracking forms for the group stuff that I'll come across. I'll keep tracking forms for small business stuff that I come across. I keep tracking forms for my associates. Okay, I want to find out what they're, you know, who they're contacting and stuff. And then, of course, I keep tracking forms for my just day-to-day exposures that I'm doing. And so each of those stacks probably has 5, 10, you know, stapled all together. And I use this form, and I highlight the ones that are hot. I highlight the ones that I definitely want to make sure I get back to. And again, ladies and gentlemen, just anything we're going to share, we're not here to waste your time. We're not here to, you know, create more, you know, expense for you. But this will absolutely work. Why? Because the statistics tell us that most people will never even follow up after that first exposure. Do not be that person because it's sad. I see all the time where an associate, you know, either quits or I don't know what happens. They don't follow up and they're no longer in the business. And then I come along and bingo, guess what? I'm making the sale. I'm bringing on the associate. Why? Because I was just diligent and professional in my business. And that's exactly what we're talking about here is just how to be professional in your Legal Shield business. Okay? Next form I absolutely love is the telephone tracking form. Again, great tracking system just to really be serious about your business, folks. And even if you're part-time, fantastic. Track your calls on a daily basis. What I do on this particular form, again, this form's available at ShieldNation.com, but I actually write the person's name. And this is just a quick example of here, just a couple days here this week or this month, of some people that I've been, calling, and I actually write the person's name in there, then I write kind of who are they, and the ones that are a little hotter, I'll circle, okay? And as you can see, I've got this guy Nguyen. He's out of Southern California, insurance agent. He's definitely worth communicating, going back and forth. In fact, he's probably heading out to the Super Saturday here this Saturday, okay? But I think this is helpful here. Instead of writing just a smiley face, no answer, what I found is I actually put the person's name, and I'm a little anal here, folks. I write every single call that I make. I write that person down. If I called corporate, if I called the utility company, I put everybody down because I want to be honest. Where the heck did my day go? Where the heck did my week go? And my biggest problem, to be really transparent, is I actually forget most of the time to put the person down there. So I literally have this form right here at my desk, right by my phone and computer, so I can just quickly jot down, that person's information. Okay. I think one of the other forms here that we're going to highly talk about right now is the Top Star Prospecting Form. Great form, not only for brand new associates, but some of us who've even been around for a while. Just again, great way to stay organized. Go ahead and put down everybody you know. Ladies and gentlemen, they say the average person knows 250 people. Okay, 250 people. That's exciting. And what do you want to do? You want to fill out this form, and then over here on the member to the associate side, you want to put a little check mark on each of these events. And of course, we want to go and contact the 10 stars first, then the 9s, then the 8s, then the 7s. And ladies and gentlemen, it's just amazing the results we see from people using this form, especially when they're brand new. Okay, so again, what we're talking about here are just some habits to start creating if you haven't started doing this already. Okay, you know me. I go to different events. I get out there. I introduce myself. This is just from a home show way back in the day. But what do I do with those cards? I just simply tape them to a piece of paper, so that way I take my notes. Here's a guy way back in '04. What did I say? Here, you see my note right there? I gave him an IDT CD, okay, because he was a real estate guy, and they were victims of identity theft. So I take my notes, when I get back to the car, so that way when I do follow up, I got something I can remind them, how did we meet? So again, this is just something I've been doing for years. It's not fancy. It's not an app, but it works. Okay, you just simply tape those business cards onto a piece of paper there, and again, that way they're all in one area. I normally put the title of the event and the date, so that when I do follow back up with somebody, I can remind them, where we originally meet. Okay, they're probably not going to remember me, especially after 10, 11 years here, but that's okay. You know. Again, fortune in the follow-up, when the time is right, the time is right. Okay, so let me go to the next slide here. And so last but not least, we've got to talk about our marketing and retention system. Okay, tremendous system, ladies and gentlemen, that everybody should be using. I've been using it for, 16 years. My retention's in the 80s. I absolutely think because of it. And this is just a wonderful program that you can put your members on, you can put your prospects on to continue to learn about, Legal Shield. And again, it's over at ShieldNation.com. It's 95 cents a month. It's unlimited. You could put in hundreds and hundreds. You can't spam. We're not here to spam people. But when I'm out and about, I meet somebody, build a rapport, meet with them and such, I will simply ask them, hey, is it okay if my email autoresponder follows back up with you to continue to educate you about Legal Shield? Most of the time they say, yeah, absolutely. So now I've got their permission, and then what do? I put them on, one of the campaigns, either identity theft, either Legal Shield. There's probably 20, 25 different campaigns that are available. Okay. So again, if we've got some time, I'll walk you through where that is over at ShieldNation, but that's under marketing and retention. Okay. So here we go. Drum roll here. This is what everyone's absolutely been waiting for. This is probably the best kept secret out there, and this is probably this is worth the price that you paid for today's webinar, especially for our West Coast folks getting up early. But this is a system I've been using for a couple of years now. I absolutely love it. It's called followupthen.com. And what this does is it's a free email follow-up service that, let's say, like right now I'm talking to a credit union person for my school where I went to college. So she's the head of marketing. Timing's not right, lots on her plate. No problem. We stay in touch, but what do I do on this? I put 30 days at followupthen.com in the BCC section, in the blind section there. And what happens? In 30 days, that email comes back to reminds me, oh, that's right, I got to follow back up with Melanie. And you can do it for a day, you can do it for an hour, 6 months, a year. Absolutely tremendous, tremendous service, and it's free. Okay, there's a free trial and stuff like that. So do take a look at this, play around with it. But again, this is probably the best kept secret out there that I've found, especially for the fortune and the follow-up, because we all know when the time is right for people. Okay, so what I want to talk about here is probably the biggest mistake and challenge that I see with associates with Legal Shield is that they don't understand that this is like everything takes time. Okay, does the birth of a baby take time? Yeah, it takes 9 months. Does corn take time? Yes, it takes all summer. Okay, does what other examples? Does your business take time? Yes, it does. And what I want to remind everybody here is that your business is going to take time. Okay, the old expression here, if it's easy, it's sleazy. Okay, this is not a get-rich scheme. Legal Shield is not a get-rich scheme. This is a get-rich over time business. Okay, and I love Jim Rohn. Anything you can get your hands on, Jim Rohn, by all means, please. His CDs, just tremendous individual. This is not the sports guy. This is actually the business philosopher who we unfortunately lost a few years ago, and I had the privilege of seeing him probably 5, 10 times early on, especially with my career with Legal Shield, and just changed it all. And I know the Hoffmans are big fans of Mr. Rohn as well. So I want to talk about what he talks about here is that you cannot change the seasons, but you can change yourself. Okay, and I like what Jim Rohn talks about is that life and business is like a changing season. That the seasons are set. We can't change them, but you can change yourself. And the thing here, folks, is like we can learn from the seasons, and that like winter. Okay, so winter's coming here in a month or so, and what do? In winter, we got to learn how to survive. Okay, because we know winter's going to be cold. It's going to be rough. And the key is, though, we got to be prepared. And I like what Jim Rohn talks about the ant philosophy. It's a really cute story here that the ants, they think summer all winter. Okay, what I mean by that, they think positive. Okay, summer, during the cold, negative winter. And this is so important because during the winter, what are ants reminding themselves? All right, this is not going to last forever. We're going to get out of here pretty soon. That first warm day, what happens? The ants are out. If it turns cold again, what do? They dive back in. Then they come back out when it gets warm again. They can't wait to get out. And so the key here, folks, is, and I love the ants because they don't quit. If something's in their way, they're going to go around it. They're going to go over it. They're going to make it happen. So we can learn a lot from ants, all right, especially in our Legal Shield business and in life. Now, what comes after winter? Well, spring, okay? And I like spring because spring is opportunity. There's no guarantee, but there's an opportunity. And here's the thing, folks. We got to do something in the spring to take advantage of it. And if not, we just lost another opportunity, okay, and another new beginning. And in business, just like farming, you've got to create those artificial springs, and that means getting after it, for the next 90 days. And here's the thing, again, folks, there's massive momentum going on with this company. This is the spring of your life right now with Legal Shield. If you're brand new especially, or even if you've been around, this company will be a household name in the next handful of years. And are you going to be part of that? Does all of your friends and families and contacts know that you're the Legal Shield rep? That's it. That's it right there. Okay, but here's the key. We've got to plant the seeds in order to take advantage of the spring, that's out there. All right? And again, ladies and gentlemen, it's so important to keep these seasons in mind because they're out there. Summer, we just got done with summer here, right? What happens in summer? The weeds are going to come and try to attack the crops. Well, guess what? You're going to have the same weeds in your Legal Shield business. You're going to have those negative, friends. You're going to have associates who start and quit. You're going to have members that maybe didn't have a positive experience with the certain. Things are going to happen. That's all the part about being in business. And I like what Jim Rohn talks about is that we've got to nourish and protect like a mother and defend like a father. Okay, the red blood cells, nourish and protect. And what are the white blood cells? They defend and kill off any disease. And that's exactly where we've got to be in our Legal Shield business. Okay, because if we don't kill the weeds, ladies and gentlemen, guess what? Then our crop is going to suffer. Our Legal Shield business is going to suffer. And what do we do here? Folks, we've got to pay attention to the conversations that we have in our mind. What's our language? What's our self-talk every single day? Is it positive? Is it negative? That's the biggest, weed that I see for most people in their Legal Shield business and in life, all right, is that, what's going on with their thoughts. Because they say the quality of your life is in direct proportion to what you think about, okay? And what are you thinking about most of the time? Is it positive? Is it negative? See, healthy people think about healthy activities, eating healthy. Financially successful people think about activity. They think about, getting to the events. They think about associations. They think about being smart with their money, being smart with their time. Poor people, they're thinking about how to spend their money on the big screen TV. How to spend their money on, money that they don't have on season tickets to some kind of football game or something. Building someone else's dream instead of their own. I'm all right with sports and stuff, but man, build your dream first. Get the money game out of the way first, and then absolutely go have fun. Okay, very, very important there. So again, what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts? So important every single day. Last but not least, the final season here is fall. And again, it's my favorite season of all the seasons, but you got to be patient. Okay, you got to plant the seeds. You got to wait. You got to nourish. You got to wait. You got to protect. You got to wait. You got to care. You got to wait. And if I see the biggest challenge most people have, not only in Legal Shield but in life, is that they don't have the marathon mentality. Instead, they've got the microwave mentality. Okay? Dare not be that person, folks. Just really make that decision that I'm not going to quit. I'm staying the course. All right? And you've got to keep that in your head every single day, especially if you're brand new, till you get over that curve. Okay? Because successful people, what are they thinking about? Again, they're thinking about their future. So our very first slide, they're thinking about their dreams. They're thinking about their goals. Again, why are they doing that? Because they're using that to pull themselves that come up. And there are challenges. Okay, this is business. This is exactly like any other company out there. The good news here, though, folks, is that we're not into it for hundreds and thousands of dollars. I was visiting some businesses here this week, and a new guy opened up here. He opened up a whole craft beer thing, and man, guy was doing great, and and I left some of my information. We never sat down. We never had a chance to sit down. I kind of kicked myself, but I was just there this week again. There's a whole new sign. You know, the first guy is completely out. He's gone. And, man, I'm like, I don't even know what happened to that first guy, but, you know, he's out of the game. And it's really, really tragic to see that happen to somebody. And, again, I see that happen with people in their Legal Shield business, is that, again, folks, every month we have the opportunity it's your new spring again, okay? But you've got to be patient. You've got to just plant the seeds and then be around for the harvest. Okay, so I hope that made a lot of sense. If not, please, you know, work on yourself here. Pick up some Jim Rohn. We're going to finish off today with just talking about some personal development that just, you know, I've worked harder on myself, folks, in the last 16 years personally, you know, developing myself than anything else. It's reading the 10 pages. It's listening to the positive audios. It's, you know, limiting my associations with negative people, you know, instead being around positive people, you know, the Super Saturdays, you know, the people that have my you know, future, my solutions, rather than people who have my problems. That's who I want to hang out with. Okay, so Jim Rohn, you know, just talks about getting better at the game. Everything in life is about who you become. And if you want to have more, you got to become more. For things to change, you got to change. For things to get better, you have to get better. For things to improve, you have to improve. And if you grow, everything will grow for you. Okay? Folks, again, pick up anything from Jim Rohn. Absolutely tremendous. Got to talk about Darcy Hoffman's Success Habits Workbook. Again, folks, available over at ShieldNation.com. Nothing's going to change until you change. And what I love about this is literally you can pick a page a day and work on a habit to start transforming your life. And again, easy to do, easy not to do, but these are habits of millionaires. You know, I don't know about you, but I went to a lot of school and college and all that. Man, I never had this kind of training. So it's absolutely fascinating to me. This book alone is probably worth thousands and thousands of dollars, truly. If people will absolutely take it to heart, and in fact, we have a lot of associates who have, and that's why they're Performance Club qualifying. That's why they're making, you know, thousands of dollars a month. They're you know, executive directors, they're ring earners, they're millionaire club members, because they've embraced this workbook called Success Habits. Okay, so again, if you don't have this book, make it a goal today. Pick it up. Start going through the information. Start applying it. That's definitely the key, because, folks, if we don't change our habits, we're not going to change our life. And it's as simple as that. We all have habits right now that have gotten us to this point in life. And if you want the next 5 years to be exactly like the last 5 years, then just keep doing what you're doing. That's the recipe right there. But if you want things to change, again, you've got to make some changes. Okay, you're going to have to pay a little bit of a price now to have that promise later. And I don't even think it's a price. I think it's a privilege that we get to work on ourselves. We get to share this awesome, awesome service with people. And again, we get to help change people's lives. So as we wrap up today's webinar, would like you to, if you have any questions, you got any comments, by all means, raise your hand there. There's a little icon there. We'd love to hear from you. Okay, this is where it's good feedback for me to kind of figure out what got connected there with you all, and then maybe you had picked up something that someone else was too busy writing, they didn't pick up. So again, we're gonna after this here, we're gonna really open it up to hear from all of you. So please don't be bashful. This is family, and we'd love to hear from you. So again, as we wrap up here, what was rule number 1? Are you having fun? Okay, please make that your motto. I guarantee, have a smile on your face. You know, when you come into a situation, be the first to say hello. You know, reach out your hand. Let people know you're the local Legal Shield rep, and have you ever heard of us? Okay? It's that simple. Second, today, start using the tracking forms. Get into the habits. Okay? Go to ShieldNation as soon as we hang up today. Print out the forms, make copies, and start using them. Literally have them right there at your desk, so you got to trip on them. That way, every day you'll get more and more, just more into the habits. It seems normal. Darcy talks about creating a new normal. That's exactly what those tracking forms will do for you. And then finally, what books are you reading right now? We just say 10 pages a day. I love Endless Referrals by Mr. Bob Berg. He's just got some really good nuggets of everyday networking and getting out there, having fun with your business. Really just being helpful to people. I think that's really his modus operandi. So again, the Habits book, highly recommend. So let's go ahead and turn the tables here a little bit, and I'll see if I can get to. Let's see here. Oh, we want to do that. Well, let's start there. All right, so here we go. Go ahead and raise your hand again, folks, and we'd love to hear from you. What was a nugget? And we're just going to spend a few minutes here. If you're you've got to be on the audio to share. And I think we've got Deborah. So Deborah, I think you're live. We'd love to hear what you like best and how you're going to apply it.
Well, I liked a lot of the information that you gave. I did have a question. What is the M&R on the?
Go on.
What does the M&R mean on the tracking form? Great.
Yeah, perfect. I'm glad you picked up on that. And so the M&R stands for Marketing and Retention. Okay. And over there, and what is Marketing and Retention? Well, that's our email autoresponder program that we talked about. So there's the M&R. Great question.
Gotcha. Okay. Thanks.
Yeah. Now, let me ask you, Laura, are you currently using any kind of tracking, or what do you do to track your exposures?
I'm kind of like you. I started using a form, and then I gravitate to something else, so I just have to stick to it and keep using it.
Good for you. Yep, and that's very common. You kind of start it, you'll stop it. Very, very, very important, though, to just continue it until you create, like I say, that habit. And they say it takes about 21 days to create a new habit. Okay. So that's I definitely know you can do it, and you're going to hear the results in the future.
Okay, I'll do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, this is Deborah.
All right, thank you.
Kite.
What was that last part?
Yeah, I was just saying I'm Deborah from District Heights, Maryland.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Well, thanks for being on, and thanks for applying, and have a great rest of the day and weekend.
Thank you.
All right. Who else, folks? We've just got about a couple more minutes here, and then we got to get out there. We got a busy day. Let's go out to Frankie here. Let me unmute you. Hey, Frankie, what do you like best, and how do you plan on applying it?
Thank you, Bob. This is one again. Okay, you've done very well. I'll have to research and do it again, like I did on your presentation folder. I'm a big fan of that, and also actually going out and getting 10 new one-on-ones a week.
Good.
Doing that about this, okay, and it really excelled my business. And sometimes you're not able to do it, but I still set that goal, and I think that's sometimes we need that goal of where we're going to go every day with
that's right.
New people.
And let me ask you, Frankie, are you using any kind of tracking right now, or how do you track those 10 prospects a week right now?
Well, it's basically an Excel form, very similar to the Builder.
Okay.
That way I can manage it a little bit easier than writing it down.
Okay.
And also, I use Google Calendar, and it pops them up and saying I have to go back and talk to someone every time. Okay, Bob,
love it.
Back to you. Thank you.
No, thank you, Frankie. I love it. Your tracking game. Now, keep in mind, folks, everything you want to do, though, you want to make sure it duplicates. Okay? So, let's see. Okay, perfect. Yeah, everything you want to do, you want to make sure it duplicates. So what I like about the Wealth Builders tracking form is that a new associate can go to ShieldNation, print it out, and they can start using it right away. So, when people start kind of doing some other stuff, Excel and, some of these apps, and yeah, that's all great. That's good for you. But then again, at the end of the day, is that going to be able to duplicate? So just an FYI about the, some kind of, veering off on the system, the simple system that we've got in place. Okay. So one last opportunity here. Anybody else want to share? If not, we're going to go ahead and put this one to bed. And let's go out to Bob.
Hello.
Hey, Bob. Good to have you on.
Good. Hey, what I really liked was the just reminding the habits of what you were talking about, Jim Rome, and the seasons.
Yeah.
And kind of combining a couple of things between what you said there and Darcy's book. In that sometimes we forget how important it is to work with other people. And I'm fortunate. I mean, I'm not on Jim and Darcy's team, but they allow me to hook on to calls like this without any problem.
Right.
And to use her book, that sort of thing. And it's really a privilege to be able to do that. And some kind of hit a story of a farmer who has award-winning corn every year. And what he does is people ask him, well, how do you get award-winning corn every year? And he says, well, I give the people around me seed. And they say, well, why would you do that if you have you're not going to be able to keep winning corn? He goes, well, their fields pollinate my field. So if they have crummy corn, I'm going to have crummy corn. So if we spread and work, with Darcy's book and with duplicatable systems, and we work with people, work with our team, we're going to be able to grow and continue to build and have a more bountiful crop every year, in my opinion.
I love that. Yeah. Mr. Self talks about how one candle, lighting another candle doesn't take anything away from that first candle. And that's exactly what you're talking about there. And yeah, Bob, thank you. You're smart for joining our call and applying it. And thank you so much for sharing.
My pleasure. Great job.
Awesome. All right, thank you again.
Hey, Bob.
All right, everybody.
Hey, Bob.
Who's that? Hey, Cheryl.
Good morning.
Go for it.
This is Cheryl from Colorado. Hey, a couple things. Great job this morning. Could you go back to that slide with the why everybody in California got up really early for the follow-up email?
Yes.
Okay, because I didn't get a chance. So what's tomorrow at followupthen.com?
Well, tomorrow.
Well,
yeah, just go to followupthen.com. But like tomorrow is an example of how you could send somebody an email, and then tomorrow it would show back up. And you put that in the blind section, that BCC.
Right. Wow.
Isn't that cool? I told you that was.
That's awesome.
I told you that was. Well, congratulations.
And we like free.
No, we love free. Absolutely, it's free. It's me. I always say. But congratulations to you, Cheryl. You're a six-figure ring earner. You were just recognized on the group call this week, so congratulations there. And you're just a huge proponent of Performance Club and just how that's the secret sauce to everything. So thank you so much for all that you do and joining.
And one of the key things too in that, which you went over, and they asked you about that on the tracking farm, is the marketing and retention program, also known as Responder Works. You and I have used that, I think, well, I've used it since I started, which was in 2000. And of course, it has improved, and we have many more campaigns available there, but it's going to reduce those numbers that you showed about, your contacts. So, you're going to go and be one of those top follow-up people, because the autoresponder or Responder Works marketing retention program is going to be doing that for you and helping you keep up, and you'll get an email that says that email went out to that person. So it says time to think about following up with this person. The other part about that is all of us are really working toward increasing our retention, and so is the company. And this is a great retention tool. Number one, it's going to teach your members how to use the membership. Corporate doesn't really have a system like that right now. this system does that for you. It's going to teach them how to use it. Number two, it has a pre-cancel campaign. So once you find out, because every week you need to go back to your back office, look at your pre-cancel list and give them a call first, that one-on-one, and then put them into this system, because it probably was a credit card number, right? And they're emailing you back, I don't really want my membership to cancel. How do I keep it, active?
Right. Yeah.
It's a great system, and it's very worth it because it's unlimited on how many campaigns that you use. So great job this morning, Bob. Thanks so much for sharing all your nuggets.
You got it, Cheryl. Great to hear from you, and you're absolutely right. That pre-cancellation campaign alone is absolutely worth it. And here's what I always say. One membership, folks, one commission on a membership just paid for the whole thing, almost for the whole year. So again, don't jump over pennies. You can be making dollars here. This is a business, okay? And a business is going to have certain expenses to help you with your business. And again, we're not going to promote something unless we absolutely know it works and it could help you. So thanks, everybody. We're going to go ahead and wrap it up. Now, do me a favor. Apply just one thing you've learned today. Maybe it's the Dreams and Goals worksheet. Maybe it's the tracking forms. Maybe it's signing up for the marketing retention program. Maybe it's picking up Darcy's book. Just one thing. I know I threw a lot at you here today, but it's just, again, there's so much good information out there. We want to make sure you have it so that you can be successful in your Legal Shield business. So everybody have an awesome day, and we'll see you real soon here on our webinar. Again, no webinar last Friday of the month because we're closing on our business. Take care. Bye-bye.